Alright, guys, welcome to this podcast where I will share my worst and best date stories. So let's have a blast. I've linked an article. Now I've linked it, and now we're live, and everything seems to work except for the camera. For some reason, I don't know why, but my camera doesn't seem to work. So let's start. So where are you tuning in from? Tell me in the comments below, guys. And let me know. I want to tell you about my worst date story first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the general stuff that I have talked about in the article that I'm linking to. My worst date story was actually back in the year 2020. So I had to fix a little bit. I met a woman online, and I had to fix some visa and stuff because she lived across the world from me. So I had to fix that, and after fixing that, I finally came there, and the first date we went on went very well, and then we should have a second one, but then guess what, guys? Something started to happen. So, what was it? Well, you might remember if I'm saying it's 2020. You remember the pandemic, right? Yeah, that started to happen. So I had to fly home. After 14 days, I was planned to be in China for a month, but I had to fly home. So I got home on one of the last commercial flights, and the relationship ended quite disastrous, and that was one of my worst date experiences ever. But I've had other ones. So let's talk a little bit about some common things that women tend to do. Well, the first one is that we overthink and overanalyze. We, take too long to text back because we want to craft the perfect response, or we hesitate to approach or make a move because we fear rejection, or we over-explain ourselves, making conversations feel forced. Instead, they should feel comfortable and excited. And that's what you want to make her feel. So be playful, not perfect, and detach from the outcome and take action quickly. And remember, guys, that if you are over texting or seeking constant reassurance, asking things like, do you like me, or did I do something wrong? I've actually done that with one woman that I dated back in 2016, and then I was too needy, and that pushed her away, and she wasn't really honest either, so that was also a thing. And also being too available, dropping everything for her and rearranging your life is not something attractive. So make sure that you're more busy than ever, because that will make you more attractive, because you need to make time for her, and you show her that you don't need her in your life really, because you have so many other things going on. And that's something women find quite attractive. And also moving too fast can be another thing, guys. So take it slow and take it easy. And now let's take some examples here that I have found online. Here are some other people's stories too, now that I've shared mine. And the first one I want to share with you is called the gold digger test. So a woman agreed to pay for a $100 dinner on a first date, only to have a man reveal it was a gold digger test to see if she'd pay. She walked out feeling insulted and used. Now, I had been through something similar where I went to the bathroom and was ready to pay, and when I came back the woman had paid. So that was quite horrific for me, because it actually made me feel less man, and I actually wanted to ask her if we should split the bill. But she had already paid for everything, so that was weird. And that relationship didn't go beyond the first date either. And then we have a woman here who dated a guy, and when she asked him if he liked to travel, he replied that he believed travel was fake and that the earth was flat. And that pretty much ended the date. And if you're new here, tell me where you're tuning in from, and tell me your worst and your best date experience in the comments, and I will respond to them. And then we also had the case where one woman was shocked because when her date showed up, he had brought his mom along. The mom did all the talking, interrogated her, and made the entire situation unbearably awkward. And then we also have a twin brother incident here. During a home date, the man's identical twin entered the room unexpectedly with his pants down, mistaking her for his brother's girlfriend. Oops. And then we have a Parmesan mountain. At dinner, a woman joked that the server's arm would get tired grating Parmesan cheese. She kept going until her pasta disappeared under a literal mountain of cheese. That's kind of cheesy, if you know what I mean. The 8-hour walk and talk. One person described a date that started with a walk and turned into 8 hours of deep, comfortable conversation. They never checked their phones once. Good job. And then we of course had that after dinner at the small diner, the couple went for a spontaneous walk with his dog by the river. It was relaxed fun and left a lasting impression. Yeah, it's what's called the dog trick, where you actually use pets to connect with women. So let's see here. So where are you tuning in from? I know that we are 2 people who are watching here. And what's your worst date experience? I could tell you my best date experience. It was when I was on a date in my hometown, and afterwards we walked around the city a bit, and then we also went into an ice cream parlor, had an ice cream, and then we split it up and went to each other's homes. And that was a great date. And we saw each other once more before she revealed to me that she had actually got back with her ex-boyfriend. So that was kind of a Debbie Downer. But yeah. So when you are on a date, you should avoid talking too much about yourself, because there's nothing unattractive as going on about yourself and dominating the conversation. Because women don't want to hear people talk about themselves all the time. They want to talk to the man as well and discuss things that they are really into. And that's the best way to connect. It is to talk with someone and actually have a conversation. It's not a one-way street. It's a conversation. And then, of course, you should also avoid to be too much self-focused, because it prevents real connection. If you're more interested in yourself than her, that's something she's turned down by. And if you're trying too hard to impress her, she will feel that too. And if you're not emotionally present or engaged in the conversation, she'll just know that. So listen more than you speak is the easy way. Use active listening, as I have talked about previously on this channel. And I have some issues with my camera, and that's why I'm not on camera right now. And ignoring nonverbal cues can be a real miss. So many times it's not just what you say, but also what you don't say. So body language, eye contact, tone of voice, and subtle gestures communicate as much, if not more, than words. But many of us men miss critical nonverbal signs that might indicate interest, disinterest, or discomfort. So we keep pushing forward when a woman isn't interested. We fail to recognize when she is interested and miss our chance with her. And we might also appear socially unaware, which lowers attraction. Sorry to be such a person who isn't talking about all the positive things there are about dating right now. But another thing is that we are often misinterpreting these subtle nonverbal signals, which forces us and makes us rush into physical intimacy too soon. And that's not a good thing, because moving too fast kills attraction. It's just like when you talk about yourself too much. It doesn't leave any room for fantasy, and it doesn't leave any room for interpretation and actually thinking about whether you want to do it or not. And then there are some other things that might turn her off, and I've published that on the 16th of March this year, and I'll actually leave a comment. And there we have it. So, texting too much or not enough. And as I told you, being too available is not a good thing. You might try too hard to impress. You might also not taking the lead, because asking what you want to do is not the best always to do. You might suggest a plan otherwise, or be spontaneous. Plan something and then make more things and do things just spontaneous. That can actually help you improve your attractiveness. And then, of course, being overly nice without attraction can be really something that makes her feel no chemistry, and that's a big thing. Also, neglecting your appearance isn't a good thing, guys, so be aware of that. And I think you should read my articles to get more insights about what makes or breaks dates. And since I haven't got more date ideas from you or some date stories here, I have decided to end the stream right now, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in, and we'll be seeing each other soon, and it will be when I talk about when he texts versus what he means. Text breakdown for women. And I will create the link to the live video soon, and I'll talk to you